Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 627. Another day of battles with the Ranger. Let's hit that new ranked game button, jump on in. And so, what do we got here? Anything interesting? Anything exciting? I guess. I typically don't go after these stone starts with the bag of stones and the stone, but I mean, if it's offered up to us here directly, I guess that can be a thing, right? So if that's the way the game's going to go, let's chase it down. And so I think that's fine. I'm not certain if this stuff's going to fit in our bag the way we want, but otherwise it's a pretty decent start. We should just be able to purchase everything out here and then jump into battle. And so let me see. I know you can, maybe this will be the way that gets it in here. It seems fine, right? We don't have the room for the piggy bank, but everything else is up and running. All right, easy peasy. Big old rock battle, huh? Oh boy, let's see how this goes. Like I was ready to make some great commentary about this this potion badge, but he fucking spiked the literal best possible the best possible options with that thing. You have the chance to hit mana, which is completely useless. You can hit clovers, which is completely useless, and he hit the heart, the vampiric, and then the whatever's left that isn't thorns. And so just is what it is. I guess that's the way we're going to be doing battle today. But let's get over it and move on up and forward. And so with this stuff here, I'm interested in the banana. That's fine. The rest of this stuff, not super interested in. I'm going to try and sell this broom as fast as we can. We could look to upgrade the wooden sword to a torch, but with this stone start, I would kind of like to focus on trying to build a hero sword if we can. And so I'm going to skip past this upgrade path here, take a roll, see if we can't find another stone, find some whetstones, find some ways to get the synergies up and running with these things. And so we're getting there. We're kind of close, right? The leather bag turns up. That's great. There's a whetstone in here. Can't afford it right now, but we can lock it for the next turn. And then we should be able to get this piggy bank running for the round if we take out the lucky clover. We've got the bag space for it. A matter of making this thing fit. There we go. Figured that out. Easy peasy. Let's jump on in. I'm struggling today. This is rough. I don't know if you can see it up here on the video thing. I got this big cut on my thumb. It's brutal. This is the dangers of getting old. I was looking to make some soup. I don't know why I was doing that. Like it's getting to be fall time. People want soup. Soup's bullshit. Soup sucks, right? It's just like flavored water that's kind of warm, and nobody gets fucking hype about that. But I was making it. I was tossing the stuff into the crock pot, cutting it up as I go. And I was cutting up an onion and sliced my thumb open. And so at that point, I just quit. I just threw it away. I took all the ingredients I'd already cut up and put in the thing and just threw them in the trash and said, fuck this, I'm done. And so I was pretty salty about it. I was pretty mad. But we're playing here. We're playing here injured. I'm over the soup salt of the year. If I want soup this year, I'll just buy a fucking can at the grocery and be done with it. But this is what happens when you get old. These, yeah, I guess this is the way we shouldn't be complaining about life, right? If the biggest struggle old Bust has is cutting his thumb making some soups, he's probably got it pretty okay. But I'm gonna bitch about something, right? That's what you do when you make the old YouTube videos. So gotta get the complaints out there somewhere. But let's see, let's focus in, see what we can do here. I'm little interested in the walrus tusk, but I'm wanting to get down to a bit more of a sustain heavy path here. We have decent attack powers with the second stone coming in, the bag of stones, and all of the various weaponry is looking good. And so I want to get like the sustain out of the garlic, take a roll, and see if we can't find another bag. It doesn't turn up here. We should get one on the next roll, though. All right, it's a little bag, not a big bag. It's going to have to be okay. And then we do have the second whetstone to make the hero sword. And so whenever it comes to these hero sword style of builds, I like to be a little bit open in the pathing. The preferred build I have with these is going to be making a falcon blade. I prefer to go with the falcon blade and then use the falcon blade to tie into big OTK style of builds with Fortuna's Grace. The idea being that the falcon blade attacks twice, it gets those crits, and then those crits come in and fuel the bonus attacks on the Fortuna's Grace, or fills the extra hit things on the Tusk Piercer. That's the preferred one. After that, you can look to just turn it into a Steel Goobert, which I'm kind of okay with. It was much stronger in the previous patch than in this patch, but it is still a thing. Going after the pet builds with the Steel Goobert. And then last but not least, there's the angle of the Hero Sword, where you just have the Hero Sword with a bunch of small attacky style of items. I would prefer to be in the skill rounds before we really try and go after this Hero Longsword, given that you really want like the whetstone thing, or a way to reduce the stamina usage of your items. And so right now, we'll just have to see how it goes. I don't want to be forcing anything at this point. But let's see here how we can get all of this stuff in the old bag. Get our weapons under the attacky thing. We need to shift all of these up one, right? Here. Get like this. Oh, shit, we lost our speed bag. There we go. Get like this, get like this. Then we want these stones in the bottom. Then we want this guy underneath the stones. Is this going to work with our banana? Not necessarily. We can do this, though. Just give up on the speed bag for the wooden sword. Keep the broom in. Everything, all of the weapons are still in the crit bag now. That's fine. And then get our actual weapons in, get our foods in here, so we can kind of give up on the piggy bank at this point. We could look to just go ahead and pick up the whetstone, right? We could sell the pig, sell the clover, pick up the whetstone, and upgrade the hero sword this turn. That just sounds a little aggressive to me, and so I'm gonna skip past that. We can just get this upgrading next turn. Typically, these double stone starts are just enough in the early game. It's a fairly strong start, getting that consistent damage that doesn't take any stamina. If your opponent like this guy comes in and stamina's out, you tend to just have that consistent damage that's carrying you through the round. But we'll have to see if it's able to do it here. It's not getting the big takedown that we're looking for here right at the start. We might need a crit to finish this one off. Fuck. It's a bummer. That's a bummer. But all right, life goes on. And so do we want to go big with the stone, right? When the stone or stone golem deals damage, you get 45% of the damage as armor. I'm kind of on board with it. I had no real intention of just keeping these stones forever, but if it's going to come at us like this, then why not, right? So let's go big. We're going to pick up the stone. We're going to pick up the whetstone. I am very interested in flutes. The flutes work fantastically with the likes of stone, getting us those buildups of armor, right? You don't need to have a big stack of armor to make stone work. You just need some points of armor. And so having the way to get this just little bit of armor from a flute, a little bit of armor from the garlic to keep that stoned active is pretty nice. And so I'm looking to add in the flute. The downside with this here now is our attacks suck, right? I don't really want the broom anymore. I think we're just going to have to sell it for the round, but weren't really using our stamina in the previous round, and we're going to be struggling to use it here. So we'll have to see if we can't get that sorted out just a little bit. Well, let's see. I'm gonna get our hero sword upgraded, get the stones and the sword underneath the whetstones. That looks delightful. We can get our flute in the old bag over here. Most of the hexes are covered. If we stagger it out just like that, looks good to me. And then we just got to fit as much of this other nonsense in here as we can. I don't think we're going to get the banana in, but we don't particularly need it this round, since we're going to have no stamina worries, only using the wooden sword. All right, let's see how it goes. Not feeling too strong about it. This guy's not that strong. It's a very similar opponent to the last round. I think we can out damage these two healing herbs. This feels like a very Very odd build to see at this stage of the game, but we'll take the W's where we can get them. We need it, you know. I'm injured. I'm hurt. I'm playing damaged, and so we gotta get the good stuff when it comes to us. So all right, do we just go in at this point? Like I'm admittedly not a real connoisseur of the stone build, but we have a secondary bag of stones turning up, and then another small bow that we can potentially use if we upgrade this hero sword. And so we didn't find the whetstone thing, but I mean it looks like the game is just presenting us this beautiful this beautiful opportunity here, and so I think we have to take it. Now, the thing I will say with these hero longsword builds, I'm not a huge fan of going after daggers. I definitely don't like hammers, and I don't really like the daggers. But as we're in this spot to where we have all of these stones, I think that the daggers should be pretty ignorable anyways. So we'll skip past that. I am interested in this spear. We do need to get, you know, decent attack power at some point here, and having that on sale is going to do some wonders. And so let's do this. Let's sell off the garlic, sell off the pig, pick up the spear, and then see where we can get our attack powers up and running here. So adding in the spear gets us at a small stamina drain. That's okay. Don't need to be crushing it with that. Would like to get this this banana on board, but our bags don't really agree with it. Guess we can do this. Just rotate around the flute to push it in a hex so it gets more activations, and then we can fit the banana in this way. I'm on board. Seems decent. And yeah, again, I've been saying this more and more frequently. With these spears, I don't really go out of my way to ensure that we got the armor shred. It would have been nice this round, but it's very common to just run into these opponents that don't have any armor anyways. And it's still a pretty decent DPS item, right? If we look at this, the spear's at 5.5, the hero sword's at about half that, these stones are about half that. The opponent's shovel is less, and then the hero sword the opponent has is less, and this is even upgrading them with some smithing for dummies and stuff. And so it is the highest DPS weapon that we have on the board right now. Wasn't able to carry us to victory here, but it's not super critical to me to get those upgrades in. All right, so now decent shop. We have both the Gloves of Haste and a Whetstone. Hopefully give us a little bit of direction for whatever is going to turn up with this hero sword. I am not opposed to still potentially pivoting away and trying to build a Falcon Blade out of this, but like if we're gonna have the 2 bags of stone along with this additional stone now, I can't imagine that we do something besides just go full on stones here. And so let's get these little rocks in here. Going to struggle to make this to make this flute work at this point. Kind of regretting picking up this Gloves of Haste, but the thing I had in mind with the Gloves of Haste is that we should be able to turn it into the empowered generator, the Thorn Gloves, whatever that thing is called, and that does work fantastically when you have 6 and 7 items on board, or 6 and 7 weapons on board. So we'll keep it in mind, even though it's sitting in our bank. It is a little bit worrisome that we have 4, 8, 11, like 20 gold worth of items in the bank, but we'll look to sell those off next round if things don't turn around here. All right, just hammer down this guy's armor with all the rocks. That feels good, right? Says this is bullshit. I got all of my armors out here, and I'm just getting pelted down by the stones. Rip. Okay, good stuff. So yeah, let's pick up the fanny pack. I want to dig for bags and dig for the whetstone here, so I'm going to let the short bow go. We already have the one. If we want to look and try and upgrade it at some point. And so let's just search for what we need. We found 1 bag. Let's continue to roll. And then another bag turns up. All fanny packs at this point. A little awkward, but it does solve some of our problems here. Let's do this. We're gonna get the flute in. It's just awkward down here with these items that don't really give us the stats that we need. But I think this is okay. Going up to 1.6 stamina per second should be fine with the leveled up banana and the flute blasting in on everything. Add in the clover. The whetstone's not super important at this point. All right. See how it goes. This is kind of a shitty bow to be adding in, but I think our stamina holds up here. There's a bit of RNG tied to it with the flute needing to hit the right thing, but it seems like it went okay there. And all right, let's pick up this Grove Keeper. Look to hit those big buff upgrades at some point. All right, we've got another flute. Looks good to me. I'm very interested in this fancy fencing rapier, though. It's like we need to sell off the spear, and I'm not too interested in the way that these bows have been going. Like, maybe this is the way we go about it. So we still try and make the hero longsword, but then our other attacky weapon is just a fancy fencing rapier. It does seem kind of counterintuitive when you're using the fancy fencing along with the clovers, because you drain out all of those clovers that you could potentially have for crit. But with the clovers, I'm really just interested in that 15 ability, right? The 15 clovers reach to get the 25 extra buffs, and it does give the fancy fencing some fuel in terms of scaling upward. And so I'm leaning towards this, just like selling the spear, selling off this little bow, picking up the fancy fencing, and then I do still want the flute. We can just sell off we could sell off the banana, we could sell off the gloves of haste. Probably look to just get rid of both of them. We do need to fit this mega clover in the bag, and so always a little awkward with it. Might fit over here. Let's see. Not certain how I want to handle this with the flutes and the speed bags. Like, probably should just be amping up the fancy fencing as much as we can, and then doing a little bit less with the flutes. And so let's actually look to do this. Right? I mean, it's our best weapon. We should be getting the most attacks out of it we can. So if we do something like this, and then we can keep these other stones where they're at. It's not super optimal at the moment, but it would let us, as we upgrade the hero longsword, they'll stay within the crit bag and get some bonuses out there. Otherwise, do need to get these flutes in. They're positioning a little bit worse now, but not the end of the world. And then I'm okay with going around without the mega clover in the bags. It's a little unfortunate, but we don't currently have the bag space at this point. But after this, there's not a ton that we really need in terms of what we're putting in the bags. Like, we just want more flutes, probably want a shield, and then just start stacking in those clovers at that point. All right, let's hit it. What is this? Pigs everywhere. Oh my gosh. Did we not get this one? Okay, it's like we zinged him down to like 3 health and then he healed for about 40. So that was a scary round for me. But all right, nice takedown. Let's see here. We got 2 bags. Works for me. I'm not opposed to picking up things like leather boots. I typically don't like these, but empowered is so good. And what we're doing here when we have 6 weapons, right? And so we could potentially look towards it, but I think I'm going to skip past it. It's just we can get other ways to get that empowered, like a single carrot does a bit of work in that sense. And then the carrot goober would be good here as well. but I think that we're going to struggle to add it in. So I'm just going to continue to roll. Pick up the potion belt for the bag slots and then lock onto the helmet. Okay. So not super optimal at the moment with the Mega Clover and a speed bag, but I guess we can do this. How bad are these flutes if we move them down one? It's not terrible. Something like this now. Okay, sounds good. And then we'll lock in the Cap of Resilience. I'm curious if we shouldn't roll the dice with the unidentified amulets. The thing that we'd be pretty happy with would be we would want to find the armor one. That would be the big find. Otherwise, a lightning bolt wouldn't be that bad. The thing that gives you back the spent buffs, since we're going to be using the fancy fencing burning a lot of buffs as well. And so let's roll the dice. I mean, there's not a ton of stuff that we're really looking for with this build, and so maybe if we high roll a little bit, it'll help it really come out and pop off. But that thing we're really hurting for now is going to be that whetstone, not having the hero longsword upgrade just yet. But all right, a real turd of things here. The super spacious don't want, mana mastery don't want, the power of the moon. I'm not really planning on going to fatigue, but it's the only one that strikes me as a really usable option here. I guess you can be kind of close to popping off buffs with mana orbs. Like, we will at some point want one mana orb to fuel the invulnerable crown, but it's not critical at this point. I guess I should kind of consider, what if we add in a holy spear? I have been trying to integrate those into builds here recently. Mana mastery can tie to that, but it can't be better than a power of the moon. So let's get past it. Acorn collars I don't really want in this build, since we're going to be burning through a lot of clovers with the fancy fencing, and so it's tough for this to actually give us crit. Definitely want to pick up the cap though. Let's pick up this. Food. Just lost 3 gold. Didn't feel good. Bummer. But all right, we've got a shield. Want to pick that up. We should probably pick up the heroic potion. I haven't been paying super close attention to our stamina usage. It's going to be the one that we want though. Let's pick it up. I'll watch it better this round. Seems like we were draining a little bit. If we were going to come in and add, say, a holy spear, it would probably drain it out all the way. Very close. Damn. It's rough not having that longsword. All right, but let's pick up the purse, pick up the shield. Gonna sell off the regular shield. It's done its work. At this point, have a little bit of money left we can roll with. We can pick up the corrupted crystal to upgrade our cap of resilience as well. I think that's okay. A little bit awkward with the bag space here. That'll be okay though. Get the mega clovers up and running. Still pretty far away from activating the full 15 at the start of the battle, but we're getting some upgrades. The pain point here is it's like harder and harder and harder to find whetstones as the game cruises on, and a little bit worried with that. We should definitely get this stoned down here next to the Shield of Valor though, as it's getting bonuses off of these stone hits. We'll get that bonus percentage off of the Shield of Valor. Oh man, hopefully we don't die out before it's all done, huh? That'd definitely be a bummer. But let's see, leather bag in. We could look to stone skin potion, the cap of resilience, instead of using the corrupted crystal, but I tend to just prefer these buff shreds that come out of the crystals, so I'm going to take that one. Rolling forward, nothing super interesting in this shop. Let's take another. The spear does turn up, which I think will lock the spear and lock the leather bag. It seems like if we're able to get all of this stuff in to where we're also getting bonuses from, or we're also getting to use the heroic potion, I'll feel a little bit better about how our stamina spend is going. I think we can afford to do it here. All right. Hopefully we're not too dead. we can live to fight another day and pop off with this armor build. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. So bummer. Sad day for the stones. Sad day for the stones. And so I'm glad that we at least got to put it together. I'm not hugely impressed with how this build went. I think we approached it the right way. But what are you supposed to do when you're trying to go for the hero longsword and then the whetstones just don't turn up? I think that this was a fair angle for the best that we could do with what we were given. We didn't, to the best of my memory, didn't see the ability to hit like a Falcon Blade anyways, and we didn't see all of the makings of the Falcon Blade build. It's just kind of one of those bad RNG games. But I think we hit this the right way. The main point is the hero sword would be giving out 4 attack instead of 2. And then with the longer hero sword, we would also be able to get it to affect more of these stones. Now, as we do look at the hero sword that we're out here battling with, we could have, arranged things a little bit differently. We could have shifted all of our bags over 1, shifted the hero sword over 1, and then gotten the extra activation on 1 stone. Like, that doesn't sound spectacular to me, but when we get to go to that hero longsword, it's adding the +4 attack to all of this stuff. It gets much, much better at that point. And so it's just kind of unfortunate that those things didn't come together. And then I don't feel bad about not picking up a heart container. I know we could have picked up a heart container, upgraded these stones into the stone golem. That feels a little bit aggressive to me in the sense that we really want all of these stones in here attacking for free and everything, and chipping down that armor, and aren't super interested in the upgrade. But the thing to kind of call out with this build to me is where I was hoping to get to start to talking to before we met our untimely demise, is this isn't a build that's going to be going into the survival rounds, right? The thing to kind of keep in mind with this is even if things are going your way, if you have say a Carrot Goobert generating empowereds, and you're a little bit stronger in the early game as far as your armors go, and you hit a little bit better with your skills, you're still not going to be a build that goes all the way to the end. You're not going to be pushing this to 18 wins. You're not going to be running this into the survival rounds. You're going to try to get to that survival round and hit the +5 and call it a day. It's very important to kind of consider and think about that as these builds progress, because this isn't one that is really designed to go into the late game. Maybe with that in mind, we shouldn't have taken the Lucky Clover, since the Lucky Clover is something you tend to need to be in the survival rounds for, although we would have been fairly close to that 15 clover mark as we approached the final rounds. I think we had like 5 clovers in our bag, so that would have gotten us to 8 or 9 clovers with what we had on board, and then the potential to spike up in clovers with the flutes, and then a miss on the fancy fencing or something could have got us to the 15 and getting all of those buffs. But we definitely needed all of those buffs to hit so that we could get those empowered. The empowered is what we were really missing out on here, especially without access to a hero longsword. But nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bustin'. We thank you for being here.